get this thing up in the truck.
Yeah, that's it.
Hello everybody, welcome back to the BOE channel. We're in the truck today because we just hit our 1-year anniversary with the Ram 3500. And I thought it'd be a fitting opportunity to go through what we like about it, what we don't like about it, what we ordered in it, and why we got what we did. Do I have any regrets, and would I change anything if I did it again? So this is the 2024 Ram 3500 dual rear wheel, limited edition, night edition. That's a mouthful. But anyway, this is what we got. It is exactly 1 year old now. And as it sits, it's got about 25,000 miles on it. So I didn't buy it to park it, obviously. It's been driving quite a bit. Hasn't been pulling as much as I'd like to pull yet. Got a couple trips planned coming up here shortly. Ultimately, I bought the truck before I bought the trailer. I kind of had an idea what kind of a trailer I was going to get. Hadn't completely decided yet. But when I was looking at the trucks, I kind of fell in love with the Ram. More so, I fell in love with the Cummins. And ultimately, I decided that I'm going to buy basically enough truck to pull whatever we pick out. And I think I accomplished that with this. Under the hood, it has a 6.7 liter Cummins diesel motor. And it's actually the high output Cummins, which also gives it the option of the Aisin transmission, which is legendary in the towing world, I guess. So we're kind of hoping it pays off for us as well. If I remember right, when I got the when I ordered, the Aisin was only available in the high output, and so if you wanted the Aisin, you had to get the high output, and that really didn't make me shy because high output just sounded really kind of cool. So we'll go over the spec sheet and what else is on this thing, because we added a few more things as well. Okay, we're in the back because the noise wasn't as bad back here, I suppose. So hopefully you can see everything out here. You can screenshot it, but I'm going to kind of touch on a couple things. So I've got the prices covered up to prove that this is not a flex video. Also because my wife might see this video one day. But we will go over a couple of things we ordered on this. Black, of course, because it has to be black. The protection group and transfer skid plate, that's all that protection group is. It's just basically a hard skid plate that's over your transfer case on the bottom of the truck. So the fifth wheel gooseneck towing prep group, that was important to me because that was the sole purpose for this truck. And I'll talk about what that includes. The night edition is just the black out everywhere. So the black grille, the black mirrors, the black badges. The tow technology group, that's going to be our camera system. Reverse trailer steering control. Now, if I remember right, when I was looking at the 23s, that wasn't available yet in Ram. Ford had already had it, but the Ram was coming out with it. And so it was either 23 late or 24 when they first started putting the trailer reverse guidance into the package. I kind of thought as a new trailer puller that I was going to need that. I did get the 410 axle ratio, and we'll talk about that in just a second here. I already mentioned the HO Cummins, which was quite an upgrade. You see that's about a $13,000 upgrade for the HO Cummins. And I'll get some specs on, throw that up there on the screen, what that means. I got dual alternators. I decided that having the dual alternators, because we're going to be pulling the trailer is going to be charging off the truck at some point in time, and it doesn't give you any more amps. It basically just puts less wear and tear on the alternators. So it has a dual alternator setup in it. I did get the air suspension on the back. So the rear has leaf springs. That gives you your extra weight capacity in the back. If you've ever driven anything with leaf springs, you'll know that's not exactly a comfortable ride when it's not under load. The air suspension not only softens and dampens that, it's also self-leveling. And so I have multiple trailer heights that the truck will set up to, depending on what trailer is hooked up to it. And when you hook a trailer up to it and it squats down in the back, those airbags will fill up to make it back up to a level ride, so it's a safe ride. And by the way, I learned recently, there's not air in them. It's actually a nitrogen-filled system. So you can't hook up anything else that you need air off of it. Like if you're going to put up a central tire inflation system or the famous air horn, you can't hook it up to that system. It's a closed system and it's nitrogen-filled. Dual rear wheels, obviously, that gave us the extra towing capacity or the extra weight capacity back there in the back. Ram box delete, you can't get the ram box in the dually. The ram box are the toolboxes that come in the side of the bed of the single rear wheels. There's obviously no place to put that in the dually because of those wide wheel wells. Trailer tire pressure monitoring system was an add-on, and the trailer surround view camera system was an add-on that I thought was useful, and we'll discuss those hopefully in an upcoming video when I install those. So this is the trailer steer. This I thought was a wise investment. When you're towing, it calibrates itself, it knows what you're pulling, and then when you turn in to back it up, you simply let go of the steering wheel, and as you're backing up, you turn this in the direction you want the trailer to go. Makes life a little bit easier. I use it about 50% of the time, I think. I've gotten pretty decent with using the upside down hand. It'll straighten itself out. When you let go of that dial, it'll put the truck and the trailer straight if you have far enough to go. Obviously, you have to let the truck kind of follow the trailer while you're backing up. It is convenient having it, and it gave me a little bit of peace of mind. They all come with the trailer brake setup already built in. What I didn't get, because I got the trailer steer, is I didn't have room for the auxiliary switches. And Ram gives you an option where you can add auxiliary switches, your fog lights, your air horn, and Ram builds the trailer switches already in and has the relays already set up to the 12-volt power system. But because you're putting this guy in, you lose that room. We do have some other things down here that come with the package, though, this being the diesel brake. The diesel engine brake has two settings to it. One is an auto and one is a full mode. And I can tell you, in full mode, it really works. We took our trip up to West Virginia last year and obviously found some more hilly terrain than we're used to here in Florida. And that diesel brake works so good that I'm not sure how much I even put my foot on the brake coming down through some of those passes, that it really is effective. The other thing is just your traction control off, alternate trailer height. That's because it has airbags. Tow haul mode. Some of these other things like the parking sensors, it knows when you're hooked up to a trailer, and so it turns those off automatically. So you're sitting inside the limited interior now, and we have the bigger screen. I like the bigger screen. It basically works like a tablet. I'll turn it all on here in just a second. Here it's a touch screen, and you do have some actual mechanical buttons on the sides to work it as well. The leather is they say a different leather than what's in the Laramie. The Laramie still has real leather. I read some things where it said the Laramie didn't have real leather. It does have real leather. Limited has just a little bit of a different kind of a leather. It's all white stitched, done with the wood grain. Hopefully that shows up on camera. It's a black wood grain, which is very nice. The amenities are very comfortable. We've got wireless charging built in. Ports just about everywhere, including the back seat. Comfortable wheel. You don't get a telescoping wheel because you have the gear shifter, and so when you have a on steering column gear shifter, you can't telescope, but we do have the incline wheel. Okay, sorry about that. I had to turn the truck on. The camera overheated on me, so we got it running with the AC out. It says it's 81 degrees outside right now, so welcome to Florida. That's our spring. So the 12-inch screen works like a touch screen, which works like your tablet. Some neat functions. You can add and change apps to it, play with your music with it. You can do your navigation through it. The comfort screen has everything you'd want, including heated seats, vented seats, and a heated steering wheel, which I didn't think I would probably use a lot, obviously in Florida, but I have actually, and it makes things pretty comfortable. Dual climate zones, the typical stuff you'd expect for a modern truck anyway. Lane change assist has been something that's been useful for me, especially driving with the dually. You can probably see it there on the screen. With the lane assist, you can designate how hard you want the steering wheel to jerk you, if you will, when you're starting to drift out of your lane from a low to a moderate to a high. It doesn't drive itself, but it sure takes the stress off of trying to keep those dual rear wheels in the lane all the time. And by the way, while we're looking at it here, the dashboard is a full LED LCD display. Only came in the 24 as well. So in the 23, this was actual 2 real gauges, but this goes through a couple different settings, including your own setup. The entire screen is LED. You can have, or LCD. You can have your music up there, your off-road pages, which are only available when you're stopped, you're going in slow mode. Navigation on your screen, so while you're driving, you can actually see your map instead of having to look down to your phone or to your other screen. Navigation still shows there as well. The diagnostics, and this page is what I use quite a bit. Here's my tire pressure monitoring system for the truck. Your boost pressure, your DPF, which mine fortunately is at 0 right now. How much exhaust brake you're getting by percentage. Fuel filter life, which is coming up here on a change. My regular drive time. My current mileage says 13.3 miles per gallon. And I haven't been towing since I reset that, so that's probably about average for just driving around for what I'm doing anyways. It gives you an option to customize things. You can tell it what to put around the top of the screen. Like right now I've got my compass up in the top left side, my range for my fuel. So let's talk about the cameras just for a few minutes. I did order this with a 360 camera package, and I've seen a couple of the people talk about theirs. They didn't get that option, and they wish they did. I'm certainly happy that I got mine. Those dual rear wheels really changed the game a little bit. When I'm in drive, it'll give me my sense of direction to where those wheels are going to. You can see pretty much where you're gonna head to. And then in reverse, gives you that rear end and also guides that. You see that dotted center line, we'll talk about that in just a second here. But those move with you, and that is truly a 360. If a door is open on one side, it blocks that out, so it knows that camera is not operating right now when the door opens up, so it doesn't give you a weird view. Dual angles here, I can look at my bumper on a wide view. I can look at my bumper on a narrow view. Same thing on the front end. As you're pulling into those parking spaces, you're pulling up to something. A little bit of a tighter view on the front end. The tailgate camera, and then finally the famous cargo camera, which the bed cover is closed right now, but I'll show you that fifth wheel and setup in just a minute and how those dotted lines work back there for that. So the keen eye might have noticed right away that these are not the factory tires. Factory tires are pretty simple. They're very roadworthy. Didn't want that look though. The first thing I did was change the tires. These are the Nitto Recon Grappler tires. And the reason why we went with those is because they've got a little bit of a hybrid tread between a road and an off-road, so it gave it that aggressive look that I wanted with that aggressive tread that I thought I might need occasionally. Also because the narrowness of these tires. And that's important when you have a dually, because your back tires are not supposed to touch. Right now, I think you can probably see in there, the dually tires are not touching, but when you put them under load, they can squish down, and if those tires touch, it can cause you problems. We wanted to make sure the tires weren't touching, but we still got that aggressive tread on there. A lot of help from the dealer, but we ended up picking these Nitto Recon Grapplers because they had a narrow enough profile where they didn't touch even under load. So there's still plenty of air gap in between there. These are running at 65 PSI, and under load, they don't touch either. Back to these dually tires. If you saw my other video, you saw the install of these valve stem extensions. And if you haven't seen that, go ahead and check over there. I'll leave a link below. These have made life a lot easier. We did add the ram step. This is a nice feature to help you get in and out of that bed. So your standard hitch connections down here that you'll find on your trucks, your 12 pin, and I think it's 7 pin. This is a camera setup that you can hook up. This is not the camera for the ram cameras though. So the bed topper I added myself, and I got this through Real Truck. Gator covers. So this is the retractable. It's not the power one. They did have a power one, but I didn't think I needed that though. Wasn't too bad of an install. Hopefully that video is up here. But the real gold in the bucket back here is the Gen Y hitch. So this is my fifth wheel hitch, which is now a gooseneck hitch. We converted it from the fifth wheel kingpin to the Gen Y gooseneck before I even pulled it off the lot. That's all I have back here. So this little thing right here weighs the Y bracket, I guess they call it. Only weighs probably about 20 or 30 pounds, and it's a real easy job to pull this out. If you decide you need your whole bed, put something flat back here, put it back in, is just as simple. And certainly if you have a fifth wheel back here with a big hitch that weighs about 150 or 200 pounds, you're not going to have that option. This part is from Gen Y, as well as the fifth wheel gooseneck. These guys are from Kurt, because Gen Y wasn't making these chain links yet, and when I ordered it, the guy said they're coming out soon. So I haven't checked back yet to see if Gen Y has these done yet, but obviously Kurt is well-known reputation as well. Gator covers topper has been no problems. Self-lubricating rollers, and to close it, there's just a lever right here that you pull it, unlock it. The fifth wheel prep package came with the puck system already built into the truck, so that it's ready to accept all those items you're going to put in here, whether it be a fifth wheel king or the fifth wheel hitch system. It's all going to drop in all those 5 holes, or just these guys. So that's part of what the fifth wheel prep package is, but it's also with the setup in the back here, where you've got your 7-pin and your 12-pin back here. We do have a regular 115 volt AC plug back there, so you can plug in something back here, maybe an air compressor or something. I can turn my lights off if I choose to back here. They come on with a dome light. The bed liner package, that's from the factory. So since we're talking about the fifth wheel prep package, you might have noticed this is a mega cab, which means you've got that extra 9 or 11 inches of space behind the rear seat or the rear door, which makes this a short bed. A short bed with a fifth wheel isn't always the best choice, because then you risk the fifth wheel going up and hitting your back window when you're making a tight turn. So that means you're either going to buy a slider hitch for your back end, or you're going to use that Gen Y gooseneck, and that Gen Y gooseneck has that extra 4 or 5 inches of extension on that Y bracket there. So I don't have to worry about a slider hitch. I don't have to worry about unlocking or locking it to make sure that my trailer doesn't hit my back of my truck. So that extra space right there is really what I wanted in the mega cab, because what that gives you back here is actually a little bit more cabin room for your passengers, if you have any, for the grandkids in our case. Gives you some storage behind these seats. But you can see those seats recline back, which makes it a nicer ride back there if you're going to be back there for a long period of time. And if you don't have the grandkids, and you got the dogs, then you got the option for that big cargo space back there. This will fit a twin bed air mattress back here. You see what you get back here with the mega cab space. Now in these storage compartments in the limited, this is taken up by the subwoofer, so you don't get a lot of storage space over here. On the driver's side, you do get a little cabin back here for some tools or whatever you need to put back there. It's not exactly a secret compartment, but it's something to get stuff out of the floor. So it's. And then your rear passengers get heated seats. They don't get vented seats in the back. They do get another regular household plug back here, as well as plenty of USB plugs for their devices back here. So what did we not get? I did not get the option for a bigger fuel tank. With the standard cab and long bed, you get an option for a 55-gallon fuel tank. With the mega cab, you can't get that option from the factory. I did not get the sunroof. I find that they're just simply hot, and ultimately they're a great big hole in your roof that's going to leak one day. For this truck, it was a tow vehicle, and a sunroof weighs about 800 pounds when you add it to your truck, and that weight comes off your payload capacity. So obviously in a limited, you got all the extra features, the leather seats, the different wheels, although I think the aluminum wheels might be lighter. But everything you add to your truck, or comfort features, goes into your payload capacity, because that's all weight, and weight equals mileage, or takes away from mileage. I didn't want to get a bare bones, rubber mat truck, but I didn't think a sunroof was worth it. I didn't order the snowplow prep package, and I didn't do the cold weather group, which basically all that is a cord that comes out from underneath your engine that you can plug into, and those of you up north know exactly what I'm talking about. So when I went down the order sheet, I pretty much said yes to everything except for sunroof, except for a snowplow prep, and except for cold weather prep. So what's life for service been like? When I bought the truck from the dealership, like I said, it was an order. They gave me a gift of 2 free oil changes and 2 tank fill-ups from the dealership. And I thought that was pretty nice, especially back then when I bought it, what diesel was costing. I think now diesel is down to about $3.63 the other day I got it. But it was over 4 and some change when I first got this. So 2 free tanks of diesel was pretty good. They didn't cover the DEF, the diesel exhaust fluid. I had to buy that myself. But and then the 2 oil changes. And I don't know what a Ram with the 6.7 Cummins oil change costs from the dealership. And I don't plan on finding out because I plan on doing that myself. Change. So the Cummins has 2 fuel filters on it, one up in the engine bay and one back behind the bed. I ordered those online from Doc's Diesel, and it took me about 30 minutes to put those in. But we've had it over to the dealership now twice for the 2 free oil changes, and I think a third time to go over and get my last tank of diesel. I think I burned a quarter tank going over there to get a tank of diesel, so I don't know if it worked out in the end or not. So I've only had 2 issues since I've had the truck, and again, it's been a year, and I'm at 24,673 right now. The first issue was at a cab light that was leaking, and I didn't notice it right away, but after about the 3rd or 4th wash, I started seeing some water dripping down through my hand grab there in the A-pillar. And so I got up there and took a look at myself, and that one cab light was getting condensation in it. So I took it over to the dealership right away. They said absolutely, took a look at it, and they said actually that one and the one next to it were installed improperly. I didn't see it, so they replaced those, no questions asked. I had a suspension squeak that I noticed, just a little bird chirp when I'd go over bumps, or I heard it very clearly. It drove me insane. We were pretty certain it was probably one of the control arms had a bad bushing. They sent me a picture a little bit ago that they found the culprit. It was actually a rock that was stuck in between a control arm, so we were close, in the frame. So not a Ram issue. I'm sure I picked that up the last time I was up in Georgia. So the leaky cab light up top, which is one more reason. I guess the cab lights look great. I love them, but they are holes in the roof that leak eventually. The seals just give up and they leak no matter how good the truck is. Same thing with the sunroof. It's just gonna leak one day. Didn't want to deal with it. I love the cab lights. I like the way they look. Otherwise, they're not useful to me. They don't help you see any better. Help other people see you maybe. Maybe one day they'll put Bluetooth cab lights that can just stick to the top and you won't have to worry about drilling a hole in your roof. And final thing, let's talk about washing this thing and parking this thing. So parking, looking for the close-up parking spots, your days are done. You're looking for the far away parking spots, you're gonna walk. Trying to get this thing in someplace next to somebody who's parked right in the white line, it's just not gonna happen. The rear backup camera is fantastic. Well, the 360 camera is fantastic. And using that, it's, I think, 100% easier to back into every parking spot. I back in just about every place I go. Car washes are another story. When you buy a dually, you're not going to go through a drive-through car wash ever again because they don't fit your tires. You can't, all these car washes have popped up over here. I think there's 5 within a couple miles of my house that are free vacuums, and they do a really good job. I can't take my truck there. And so washing the truck at home has been my new plight, which is problematic because we have hard water and it's a black truck, and I had to have black, and black looks fantastic for about 30 minutes after you wash it. It's been a constant battle to figure out how to get the spots out of my wash. It's certainly a home wash, or if you go to a drive up where you pay the quarters and spray wash yourself, but one of the pull-through car washes, your dually is not going to go through them again. We've lost the ability to car wash. We have difficulty parking sometimes. Drive-throughs. So we like some coffee shop drive-throughs. We like some chicken drive-throughs. Not all of them are built for bigger vehicles, and some of them make 2 lanes now to go through the drive-through, which gets even more challenging. So what I have learned though is I immediately put that 360 camera and help guide myself through those drive-throughs. I've gotten a little bit more courageous with some of them. I own a couple curbs, but not too bad. You forget that back end is tailing behind you and those wheels are wider, so not only is your back end tracking inside of your front wheels, but then you've got another wheel that's tracking either further inside of the wheels. So do we have any regrets? Well, I think I have to say at this point, no. I bought the truck as a tow pig that had one purpose in life. In fact, I said I was going to drive it primarily for towing, and I was going to drive what essentially is now her truck for my get around town. But the truth of the matter is that I love this truck so much, I can pretty much drive it everywhere I go. Even though you're not supposed to run diesels on short little trips and that sort of thing, it's hard on the engines and everything. I haven't seen my DPF really filling up. I think the highest I got was about 40%. It goes into regen. I don't even know it's in regen. The only way I know it is if I smell it. When you get out, it smells like, it smells hot, and so you can tell it's in regen. And I haven't had any problems with the regen cycle at all. It doesn't tell me anything on the dash if it's in regen, so it doesn't say keep on going or have to, don't shut down or anything like that. And it seems to manage that DPF filter, the diesel particulate filter, well. I think, like I said, the highest I ever got was about 40% in it, and medium length trip, maybe an hour and a half or so, it burns it all off and it's back down to 0 again. So it has been a problem. I'm just using what I would call mid-grade diesel exhaust fluid. I'm not buying the high-end stuff, the platinum stuff. It's just too expensive to just burn up. I buy the Fram or the if I can find the Blue Def that's cheaper, because I really don't like buying it anyways. I don't want to spend a ton of money on urea. Even with that mid to low grade Def, I'm not having problem with the diesel particulate filter filling up on me, or multiple regen cycles, or giving me problems with the performance. And like I said, I can't even tell that it's in regen. I did discover a trick the other day. This was kind of neat. So if I go to cruise control, I'm in park right now. You might be able to hear this on the camera. I'll put the cruise control on while I'm sitting still, and then I'm going to go to the plus sign, like I'm speeding up on the highway. And I can run it up. It's at 1500 RPMs right now. And I can run it up to a high idle. So I'm just sitting still, and the truck goes in a high idle, which gives me more AC power, gives me more alternator power, helps warm the engine up faster. So some benefits to having that, especially if you're in cold climate, you're trying to get heated up faster. I've actually used it a couple days last month because we got out there and it was about 40 degrees out, and just to get the oil up to that 60, 70 degree temperature before I just take off and run it. So that high idle was neat. I didn't realize that was a function on this. On the cruise control, turn it off and go back down to just standing idle right now. So my fuel mileage is not really a regret. I knew what I was getting when I got it. I knew I wasn't buying a Toyota Prius. In fact, the other truck that I have, I average about 11 miles to the gallon on that, on a gasoline truck that has an LS motor in it. And it's a very heavy truck, but it just has a V8 LS. And so technically I'm ahead of the game because I'm getting 14 miles to the gallon in this, where I'm only getting 10 or 11 in that. Although that's gas, and gas is now under $3 a gallon, and diesel is $3.63 a gallon. But I get it. I wasn't too worried about mileage. When I'm towing the Brinkley, it's 15,000 pounds. I think I was getting about 11 around here on flat Florida. When we got up north into North Carolina, to West Virginia area, and I think I was getting about 9 or 10 up there with it. So I'm not concerned about the fuel mileage. At the end of the day, do I have any regrets? Absolutely not. The only thing I would do different at this point in time is I think I would have bought med flaps earlier, because stone chips, and of course with the all-terrain tread, stone chips are a way of life if you have the dual leap. The size of the truck I like. It's comfortable. It drives like a beast. It's comfortable to ride in. It's not a labor to drive. The lane assist keeps me in my lane. I don't even have to look at my dual rear wheels. I don't have any reservations about driving a dual rear wheel 3500 1-ton truck. It gives me confidence when I'm driving. certainly with the cameras and all the technology assistance is on here. It makes me feel more comfortable driving, pulling my first fifth wheel. I don't want to have overconfidence with it, so I'm still driving at 10 and 2, focus on the road, paying attention to what I'm doing, trying not to snack or drink my sodas or, you know, do anything else whatsoever. I'm eyes to the road, because again, I still consider myself a young driver when it comes to this kind of driving. But the truck helps me have more confidence with it, because it does have so many features on it with the cameras and with the lane assist or the exhaust brake and those things that help me be a better driver. So I'm glad I did the 3500. I'm glad I did the 1 ton because I'm certainly not I'm not out of my class in weight. This thing will pull 39,000 plus pounds. So and my trailer, like I said, if it's maxed, will pull 15 or 16,000 pounds. So I'm you know, not even half of what my truck capacity is. So I'm a little bit over truck. I understand that part, but I'd rather be over truck than under truck, and trying to fight my way up 7% grade outside of North Carolina someplace. So I think I've rambled on long enough here, hence the name of the channel, BOE. I think I said everything I wanted to say. I hope you got something out of it. I watched a lot of these type of videos when I was getting ready to buy. For years, probably for years, I was thinking I was getting a Duramax. I was certain that was the truck I wanted, and literally 3 months before I ordered, I took a hard U-turn and said I want to look at a Cummins. And the more I looked at Cummins, the more I realized that Cummins was the truck, or the motor rather. It just so happens to come in a Ram, but the Cummins, it's a 100-year-old motor. They were made to do exactly what they're doing. They don't need to change them, although this year I think they did change them, because they're just built to last. The only thing that's problematic on them is all the emissions garbage that hang off of them. Short of that, the motor is great. I think this year Cummins changed to a glow plug instead of the heater grid, and that's the Achilles heel of the 6.7 is the grid heater. And you can look those up yourself and learn everything I did. But so this year I think that the 6.7 went back to a glow plug. No regrets with the Cummins, certainly no regrets with my Ram. Very happy with the Ram, very happy with the Limited, basically a cowboy Cadillac. Thanks for taking a look and seeing what I've got going on. Thanks for watching all the way to the end. If you liked this, hit that thumbs up button. It doesn't cost you anything. If you're not already, please hit that subscribe button. It gives me motivation and encouragement when I see those numbers that people are actually paying attention, people want to see this. So that's about it for now. Check my monitor for me, make sure I'm still on. And I appreciate you checking in for the BOE channel, and we'll see you on the next one.